No, this is going to be the part two. So with that other video, I'm just going to make a link of the screenshots that I wanted people to see in the information part of the video because I don't want comments on this. I don't want like a bunch of harassment. Maybe some people will be nice to me, but I'd rather not. So let me get into this. So first of all, I was very distorted on why I had said certain things or on me posting those threads. So first of all, people did not look at why I was making those threads and did not look at the content in them. They decided to twist my character and act like I was manipulating the rules to get around. That is false. So if you even look at when I made those threads, it was innocuously when I had just been in a conversation and got the idea to do it. That happened on the wild animal thread. That was actually to also give people more opportunity to contribute to the discussion since people said they did not have pets. The wild animal, the pet one, when I'm not gonna throw names in this. I'm gonna keep forum names out of this. But one user, I know who it is, that posted a her pet about her pet or something, or uh, there maybe I did make that one on myself, but it still was not like a malicious thing. I just don't remember. I do think that it. I think that I got inspired by a I don't remember on that one, but for the wild animal one, 100%. For the travel one, 100%. It was because a user was we were talking about a cruise ship, how I thought they could be like a Disney person and they loved Catalina Island when they must have looked it up and I just wanted to make it because I wanted to share more. And I only posted like one thing in there and it was from Bouchard's Garden in Canada. That was it. That was it. I made a thread. I will use his name because I know he won't mind and he's very close to my own self. But FS92, my good friend, people were maligning his character and my own and going way out of context with that, like that I use him, that he's like seducing me or he's a simp for me. I just made a thread on how I think he's also on the autism spectrum because I wanted to defend himself and I just wanted it to be in one place. That was not me trying to spam the forum or get around rules either. I just wanted to have that thread for himself and for my own self to be able to comment on it, but also for him. And if anybody wanted to share information on it, that's it. That's it. And people distorted it, like I made a forum reconciliation thread. Like that is something that should have been existent from moderators from a very long time ago. I mean, I was trying to work out issues after that conflict. That was not me trying to spam the forum either. And what else can I remember that I made? I made a thread of soundtracking, like from that thread, because others were complaining that I was posting unrelated things in there, or since people had tried to use the DSM on me to diagnose me, it's not diagnose, but to suggest things on myself that are untrue. I made that in response because that was triggering for my own self. It's like people are just wanting me to suck it up how I've been treated. That's not cool. That's not fucking cool. I should be able to comment in response to that. That's not cool. And it's not true. It's completely untrue. And I made like a autism versus NPD thread as well. And that was to also clarify that as well. So I mean, most of the threads that I had made, and then there was a user who even liked one of my threads about how what kinds of people you attract that aren't related to socionics. And that was another just random onslaught one that I made from something I wrote on random thread. And I thought that it could be an interesting discussion for the other users. Then I made one about like what song you wanted to listen to tonight. I just thought that was a cool question that I thought of. That's it. I mean, I was not trying to spam the forum or make wraparounds. If I wanted to do that, like I would have made those threads for my own self. These threads were aimed at discussion for the forum. They were not made about my own self. They were to invite discussion. Just because I made more than one thread in a short amount of time does not mean that I was trying to manipulate anything. People are not looking at the content there. They are not looking at my intention. They are making an assumption about my own self, which they have done a lot of. And I had other things to say. So, right. So, I'm have brain fog, so I'm just point blank. Um, this is my left shoulder. It's just sore. It makes it look opposite because it's flipped. I just lost what I wanted to say. I mean, right. So they're not looking at the content of what I wrote. They are not looking at when I made it. They're not looking at why I made them. They are not looking at if they were aimed for my own self or for the forum. They're not looking at it. They're not being fair about it at all. Not at all. Um, Now there is something else I wanted to say with me, with the whole, like, me saying that, like, shaming others, like, for my skin reaction. First of all, from my point of view, I was being honest about it because I can be blunt like that due to my autism, and I don't necessarily always think about how I'm saying it. Now, with the whole, like, in the past, when I lived at home with my abusive mom and dad, who would be invalidating me and gaslighting me, or like saying that they never did things that they did, or blaming me for stuff that I did not do or whatever. After that, and they repeatedly escalated me, sometimes I would threaten to slit my wrists in front of them. That behavior only has ever happened in the house with them. That is a four core, two line behavior. I was directing it at them, in response to how they were treating me. With the whole forum thing, with the skin rash, I was being just bluntly saying what I believed happened. From what I recall, I don't fully have the discussion, and even if I wanted to look at it, I can't because I'm banned from the forum. I I remember that I said something about how I had my own rule there from not knowing when to back away. I did say one user really stressed me out because they were pushing my boundaries. That goes back to the other video that I made about my boundaries. The trigger for me, due to my sexual assault background, due to having been medicated in my food, due to having had stuff threatened to be put in my ass when I did not know, and it affected how I used toilet paper. And I showed you the regional center document on that before. And I did not like that I shared that about myself, but I felt back to a corner when people were making assumptions on my own self. With me just being from a rich background that has had it easy. And I lived in hell in that, when I lived with my mom and my dad. I lived in hell. I could not even feel safe on a toilet or using toilet paper. Um, if I wanted to direct it at one person, from what I recall, I remember I said more than one person has stressed me out. I can't even look back at what I said. I'm banned from the forum. I can't even look. But from what I remember, I had said more than one person stressed me out. I did say I did focus on one person more because I was talking to them and I was just stressed out and losing it. And they were not respecting my boundary from at least my point of view. And I said my own role. If I wanted to shame them and be emotionally manipulative, I would have directed it wholly at them. Wholly at them. Because when I have had that behavior to my parents in response to how they have treated me the only time, it was fully directed at them. I was just giving information on why I am that way. I was frustrated as well, which probably did not help. But I was not doing it to shame the person. I was doing it to give information on why I'm reacting that way and to make a point that I'm this stressed out. This is happening. And before, I told the forum numerous times, doing this can stress me out, and I am known to have autoimmune reactions and skin reactions from stress. I remember I said that. I think I said that in the spam thread that one user had made originally, not the vote, the other one that was made just to discuss it, to defend my own self, yes. I could be wrong. I don't remember. I don't remember. But I remember saying something about it. I'm known how I am known to have those reactions. So from my point of view, I had already said that. I had broken out into skin reactions, and I had just been giving the information. I put my own role. I said other people have also stressed me out, and I did focus on that person, but I gave the information. It was just me being blunt about it and not thinking about how it would have an emotional effect on the person, which does not always come naturally to me because of my autism. So that was also distorted on. A lot of things were distorted on. I did not use anybody. I was triggered with that person because, from my perception, they kept breaking my boundaries. Even when I made that you should hold yourself to the same, I felt like my boundaries were being broken and that there was also a double standard on me. My PTSD is real or perceived with that. How you should hold yourself to the same. I just was not thinking about how that person can react either. That does not come naturally to me all the time with my autism. It has to be something in my own point of view that I'm able to imagine, or else I cannot imagine it until I've been exposed to it. That's how my autistic brain works. So that was distorted on in my own self as well. So I do think that the ban is very unfair because I never broke the rule. I never went over. I mean, I did a few times on accident and I deleted right away. It's very hard for me. It happened twice, I believe, that I did. I had to delete it. One was in response to Quaz and one was in my own Enneagram thread. I never broke the rules at all. It was going to be up to mods to make refining to the rules if they didn't like how it worked, and I never broke the rules to begin with. So that's unfair. And that whole drama is what ultimately, from miscommunication and misinterpretation of myself, is what made that happen. So I think it's very unfair. And I lost all my writing. I made threads on my own theories and stuff, and it's not fair. It's not fair at all. I even said I would be happy just being restricted to a channel. I completely lost access to it, and it's unfair because my communication on how I posted on the thread with how I burst post, it's even how I am in text. If you even looked at the screenshots that I've sent, it's just how I am. It's how I've always been. It was never a problem for 3 years until harassment took away most of the forum, and some of the people who are still there have not been punished at all or very little, and they are responsible for driving most of the forum away, along with other users who left that joined into that harassment. So it is unfair because inherently my posting style was not even a problem to begin with. For more than 3 years, nobody ever complained about how I post because there were so many people there that people filled in the gaps and there were equal time zones. It's completely unfair. How I have been treated on the forum is unfair. I think the ban is very unfair and does not look at fixing the problem. I offered to fix the problem and people ignored me on it. It's not fair. It's just simply unfair. And this is all mostly because people are misinterpreting my own self due to autism double empathy problems. And with the autism double empathy problem, I forget if I think I said it in the other video, but I think it's a spectrum condition and you can misread people on different areas of the autism spectrum. I don't believe it's just confined to autistic and neurotypical individuals. And even more when you have PTSD, because PTSD can cause perception of things that threaten your nervous system and cause way more conflict as well. And you don't see the reactions online, so it's even worse online. In person, it would probably not be as bad because you'd be seeing the person is genuinely triggered and you would not take it as personally. So yeah.